so proud of you.
Yeah.
I found it fascinating when I was putting signs for Alvin.
Oh, good, thank you.
Yeah.
That's easy. And I have it here too.
Okay, we're gonna get going here. This is the monthly meeting, the November meeting of the Virginia-Highland Civic Association Board. It is 7:04 according to our clock. And so we'll call the meeting to order. I'd like to begin by recognizing our host and thanking you again, sir, for, and you have the floor, Father
As
John
always,
Bolton.
it's good to have you here, and welcome, and hope that it's at least tolerably warm enough in here. I can make a change if necessary, but this is where it's set for today, so. That okay? Everybody comfortable? Good, thank you very much.
Thank you, Father Bolton. It's our home away from home, and we appreciate it. Present, as we come to order, our members, Lauren Wilkes, Freilich, Brandon Berger, Carlisle, Becker, White, Berg, Wyndham, Ferraro, and Lycian. Close. I will ask for a motion to adopt the agenda that is in front of you. Discussion or suggestions about the sentence adopted? I do not think at the moment any fire or police folks here, but you got to hold us on 6, right? So perhaps they'll come in later, and we will move on to City of Atlanta officials, and we see that we have our council member-elect, Councilmember Norwood, present. Ms. Norwood. Ms. Norwood, the floor, congratulations on your election, and the floor is yours. Thank you for this.
I want you to know that Virginia-Highland is my first unofficial duty. Y'all are the first meeting that snabbed me. And so Lola, thank you for asking me to come this morning. I'm delighted to be here. I want to see what's going on so I can serve you better. So thank you.
Well, thank you very much. We do appreciate it, and we will also invite you, though you are famous, and justly so, for your meeting and attendance to neighborhood groups, and we appreciate that. Tomorrow night we begin, and I will not bother you beyond this, but our first convocation of our master plan public meeting tomorrow night at 6 at the library. But if you want to drive, I will introduce you then. Is it 7? I'm sorry.
7 at the church.
2 nights in a row I can't do. There's a big public safety meeting Yolanda Adrian's having in District 8.
We'll invite you back, but there'll be a lot of people there. In any case, we're very grateful to see you tonight. We hope you know you're welcome anytime. We're usually at the library, but
Got it.
when Father Bolton
Thank
calls
you.
us. All right, we will move on to the planning committee. Ms. Carlisle.
So our first application is LRB, looking for the number 607, and it's George's Restaurant, which is changing their liquor license to add spirits to that. So we just wanted to have Gigi talk about what they're looking to do and their process for checking IDs and training employees and their record.
Well, we're looking to add liquor to the current beer and wine license. We do our own in-house training and card everyone who think is under 40 years of age. That's it. We have no violations. And we look forward to hopefully adding liquor, as many of our customers have requested it.
So how many years have you been in location, sir, with no known violations?
52.
52 years at the same location. That's a decent track record. Recommendation from the planning committee?
The planning committee recommended approval.
Discussion or questions from Mr. Nojour? All those from anyone in the room, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Sir, you are unanimously approved, and you may return to your post, and thank you for visiting us in this long walk you made across the street. Glad to see us. All right.
So
We'll see you.
What's the number again?
LRB 607. We will see you, your next stop is in PUF next Monday night, the same hour. And the old joke is, you will not be on at 7:10 at the NPU, but we'll see you next week at Hillside. Mr. Ogrum knows this well, so, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So next, B13-234, which is 1148 North Highland Avenue with variance application, and I will let David Ogrum explain the application and what it's for.
We're applying for a variance and 2 special exceptions, and one of the revised design. Revised to show the correct lot coverage. The garage was left off. The other plan is included now, and we have eliminated some of the concrete pads that were outside.
Is there a copy of that for us that we can retain?
It is.
Thank you.
2 special exceptions. 2 special exceptions. One is a fence. On site plan it says 5 foot. We're actually going to drop that special exception because a 4 foot is all that's required around a swimming pool. And the fence needs to be 50% open, which we're willing to do. So we're gonna drop that special exception from, and I'll take care of that with the city. The other special exception was the encroachment into the half-depth front yard with a swimming pool. And we're reducing that half-depth from 17.5 to 12. Site plan location of the pool. And the variance is for active recreation, visible from the street, which is the swimming pool itself. It's in that half-depth, but it's on the street side because the lot's on a corner, and there's no place to put the pool without it being seen from that side of the street.
Excuse me, what is the cross street? Where are you on North Highland?
North Highland and Highland Terrace on that corner. A house being built there now. You know the house. It's a new house, flat roof, very contemporary house.
So the new lot coverage, I know it's under 50%, but what is the number? 46, okay.
I think we have 45.
Between 45 and 49%, I'm sure. Chip said 49, theirs had 45, so that makes sense.
We have
You know,
additional proof mailings. Do you want to see those?
And what is the stamp date on the current, the revised plans?
It has not been re-stamped.
Okay.
I'll get that and give it to you.
Okay.
It's,
Previous one
it
was
was close today, and
1023.
but I'd like to redo the variance referral letter.
Okay.
To if you want to have that, but I'll take care of that with Brandon.
So is there anyone else here in the audience who would like to speak to this issue? Have you heard on this, for or against?
I did want to ask, I know Karen just looked and you got
We got 'em all now.
1158.
Was that all of them?
All of them are done.
All of them are done.
Okay, so it is revised, but I think the degree of disturbance has been reduced in every respect, so I don't, as long as people know about the former, I don't think that, I think you're okay on this, that's normally the way we handle it. Does the board want to opine on that? I mean, if they had asked to substantively redo the disturbance or the variance in a way that increased the previous nonconformity, it would be appropriate to re-notify. This one is a reduction of the request, so I think it's a, folks knew about that. If they'd come, they could have heard this, and we can still discuss it. It doesn't immunize you utterly from having somebody stand at the NPU meeting and make that objection, but that's not a typical reaction. Sir?
This doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the subject matter, but thanks for saving those beautiful trees that were in front, that are still there.
This is the homeowner. You can thank her for that.
Yes, they're beautiful. Yes.
Mhm.
Big magnolia.
So the planning committee recommended approval based on getting the revised plan and the two letters. I believe those were the only, and the lot coverage change, which we now have received. So I'll move to approve V13-234 with the condition that we received a stamped and dated site plan before the NPU meeting. So any other conditions?
I'll definitely have that to you.
Okay.
Excuse me for talking while you're making a motion, but do you want to make a condition on changing the fence also to 4 feet and not making it part of the grounds?
Yeah, I think that would be appropriate. If we're not gonna approve it, then you're withdrawing it. So it would be that piece will be withdrawn. The other piece will go from 17.5 to 12. We're gonna accept this. You're gonna bring us a plan. We're gonna both sign off on this right now. You can do it, or your owner can, and you'll bring us a plan identical to this one. And if you'll do that on behalf of the planning committee and let Mr. Ogram or the homeowner sign it, then that would be the motion as revised. You got that? Hopelessly confused. So the motion is to approve the site plan as presented here, the revised site plan, conditioned upon a site plan identical to this being presented and filed with the BOB and brought to us before the NPU. We will have a signed version compared to that revised site plan. Will withdraw the applicant variance app for the 5-foot fence, which they've elected not to have, and it will withdraw the special exception request for that, and it will amend the new one will include a special exception at 12 feet rather than 17 feet on the side yard setback. Have I got that right?
Almost.
Remember, I had 12 feet and this zoning referral letter said 13. I think we're going into the VHCA as 13 feet, which is a little better.
Are there questions or comments for the applicant from anyone, board or otherwise? Any comments or thoughts, any fears or worries? Absent those, all those in favor, please raise your hand. And sir, y'all are unanimously approved, so we'll see y'all Monday as well with a filed copy of this, and we're good. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Want a copy of that stuff?
I think so.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. In fact, if you will, David, if you could send us the electronic version of this, that would be helpful as well. You've got a copy, you can sign a copy. There we go.
All right, thank you.
And I will make note of what is on our agenda, but is not necessarily, which is not directly connected to this application specifically, talking that. We have, in the context of this discussion, because at the time we didn't know what the applicant was proposing in the way of a fence, we have noticed, it's come to our attention, there are quite a few front and side front, what the city calls half-deck front yard, side yard fences, all of which are required to be at 50% maximum opacity, and many of them are more in Virginia-Highland. Some of those may be legally grandfathered, not saying many, a number of them. Some of those may be legally grandfathered in, some of them are illegally constructed, I think it is safe to say. And some are close but don't conform. Pickets, fences, in other words, particularly need to have the same width between the pickets as the width of the picket in order to conform. It's the simplest way to compute it. And so we have recommended, and part of this is Mr. Lash's fine work, that we go ahead and make a photographic record and make a map of the ones that are now existing. That doesn't mean they're illegal. It's sometimes possible to go back and figure that out, but boy, is that a difficult and unpleasant task. So absent any complaint, we don't propose to redress any of those, but we do want an existing record, which we can do. It's all visible from the street by definition. And we'd like to create that record and make it publicly available so that it will be no question, at least of the date that it's finished, but that these are the only ones that were grandfathered in at this date. And that'll give us a working point to start from in the future instead of hazy, vague memories. Any thoughts on that? You do this for a living. Comments on that?
Well, it's important to distinguish between a
fence, which is 50% open, and a solid fence, which is considered a wall.
Which would require a special exception if that,
And there are a lot of walls around, some of them right on the sidewalk, very close to the street.
yeah, support walls at the base, foundation walls are the purpose of our address here. We're looking for things that are well above grade. But your point is well taken. Those should have special exceptions unless they were predated 1983, however. So I think we would probably not be too many of those. In any case, that's just an FYI to the agenda. Thank you. We'll see you all next week.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Okay, so we're moving to B13, 213, 881 Adair Avenue, and we have applicants Lydia Chastain and Ben, sorry. If you guys would explain your project and variance.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I'm Lydia Chastain, this is my husband Ben, we're the property owners of 881. Our house already has a partial second story, we're looking to add an addition on the second story. Our addition is within the footprint of the building and will raise the roof line of the building by about 3 feet. But because that original house is sitting within several of the setbacks, we are requesting a variance for our addition. Specifically, our house, which is on a corner lot, is over the side yard setback, and so we're seeking a variance reducing the half-depth front yard setback from 17.5 feet to 2 feet, reducing the east side yard setback from 7 feet to 4 feet, and reduce the front yard setback from the required 35 feet to 29 feet. Again, that's because the second story addition will be also on that footprint. And I noticed that you had a little highlighted area asking for the date of our amended site plans. Originally, we submitted our site plans on the 9th. I submitted the site plans with elevations on the 21st. It was the same as the original plan, but it included elevations.
So that's October 21st, right?
Yes.
Somebody willing saying they got a problem.
I'm sorry?
I'm here. This is alcohol.
I'm
Anonymous.
sorry, it's,
No.
It's next door.
It's not.
No?
That meeting's not until 8 o'clock.
Okay. Sorry.
1021 was the amended plan?
Sorry.
yes.
No, it's all right. Come
Goodness. Goodness gracious.
I thought he was objecting to our variance.
Me too, he sounded rather adamant about it.
So I think the planning committee visit, site visit, revealed anything?
Oh, sorry. Basically, everything that she said, the site visit was fine, no trees were, there were no trees, issues were in the footprint of where we were, so we recommended approval.
Questions or comments for anyone in the room? So your motion is to approve conditioned upon?
Move to approve B13, 213, conditioned upon, but we already have the site, so I'll move it down.
Okay, so we did do the neighborhood notification, proof of neighborhood.
Yeah, we're good with that. I'm sorry, I was using a standard form when I wrote that. You're good to go.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
we're
did.
good, they're good on that. Site plan submitted 10-9 and amended on 10-10.
All right.
All right, thoughts? Ready to vote? All those in favor, please raise your hand. And we will see y'all next week
Thank you.
at, where the NPU is at Hillside.
Yes,
Okay, and it will,
I got the code and everything.
okay, good luck.
Thanks.
Bring a book. All right, yes, we certainly can have Angelica go right now.
So we have a report from the Tour of Homes Chair, Angelica.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Okay. We want to get you in and out, because I know you're busy getting ready for the tour and
Thank you.
children at home.
Okay, thank you. I promise I will go see up next time. All right, so we are on fire with Virginia-Highland Tour of Homes. I just got off the phone with some totals that we have, and so we're really excited. I don't want to miss your face either. All right, so last year, I want to talk about money, sponsorship money, real quick, because that's what I'm most excited about. Last year, we raised $13,500 in sponsorship money. Sponsorships come from some of the, let's say like the builders, the architects, the designers, the people that are inside the homes that are on tour. So we asked for a list from the homeowners on who we could contact that want to be represented in the house so that they can have prime time marketing, handshaking and, you know, face-to-face contact with people. And businesses in our community, mom and pop shops, and of course the restaurants. So last year we raised $13,500, and this year we broke over $30,000. So we're
Wow.
$30,500. That is the difference in beefing up a sponsorship committee, plain and simple. And everybody just kicked so much, you know what. I mean, it was just wonderful. That's not including any ticket sales right now. So you can imagine, last year on ticket sales, we had, I think it was 37,000. So if we have this beautiful, awesome weather that we have had for 2 years in a row, we could be very well up to, you know, 70 grand for this tour, which is the most the tour has ever brought into the community. So we're very excited. 8 of the houses are already up on the website. Y'all need to go check it out. It's VHCA.org. Tickets are already on sale. I know Arturo's not here. Is Suzanne here? The new? No?
No.
Okay, because I haven't met her yet. But as of last week, we already had 27 tickets sold. And we just put it out last Friday. So we're feeling like we're not going to have a problem on early ticket sales. And then we kind of like rely on day of sales. So we'll see how we go. Okay, this year, everybody who comes to the tour is going to be asked to wear booties or be, you know, taking off their shoes. Last year we did taking off shoes, and it kind of got everybody jammed up in the houses. So we're thinking when they come pick up their tickets, they'll have a bag. We'll give them water this time. Whole Foods has sponsored all of our water. A pair of booties and some like marketing, you know, tchotchke in the bags.
Make sure that there are maybe some chairs or at least something to hold on to. I mean, the demographic that goes is a little bit older. And standing there on one foot, even trying to put a booty on,
That's a good idea, yeah.
A few chairs.
Okay. Because some of them do have like front stoops or,
Yeah,
you
some
know.
do, and
okay.
that's great, but others.
Okay, that's a
there's lot
great
of fun
suggestion.
Hopping around on one foot.
Because they all can't hang on the rails. Okay. We need volunteers still for Sunday. If anybody can volunteer their time, Sunday is our weakest link for volunteers. We're totally booked on Saturday and a lot of Sunday, but if you can go to the website and go under the volunteer tab, sign up for something. I mean, there's a 2-hour shift available, so there's got to be something you can do. Or tell a neighbor or a friend, because we'd love to have that filled up like within the next 2 weeks. I guess that's really it, honestly. We have 8 houses on the tour, and then Briarcliff Summit is going to be our, you know, kind of like a little neighborhood perk, if you will. I mean, a lot of the community wants to see what the big renovation is and what all the construction and all the picketing was about. So we are having one of those renovated apartments on tour. So I'm not saying it's going to be like the couple from Alpharetta that's going to go there and look at it. Maybe not, but I think a lot of us will, just to see.
Are they going to be able to see any of the other areas that have been renovated, like there's common areas and a nice rec room
We're
and all
waiting
that?
to hear that, but I really think so, but they're going to keep it very streamlined because parking is our biggest concern over there, how they're going to park and go see the place. That's why we listed it as the last stop on the tour. So I think they are going to show the common areas, but at least one of the apartments looks really sharp. So, but there's not going to be food at that. There's not going to be drink
no
at
restaurant
that.
there? Okay.
No. We're keeping it all to the houses.
I think it's a great thing, honestly, it's not gonna be easily done after the place is filled up, which it's
Yeah.
got to be. And it's a very cool building, and we got to go look at it, it's awesome.
I think the curiosity is going to be awesome for all of us. And I have to say
Really
one more
happy
thing.
to see.
We have amazing restaurants. We have 10 restaurants because some of the restaurants did not want to do 2 days, so they did 1 day. And of the 10, 6 are new to the tour. So We're very excited. I mean, you know, we have your Atkins still and we have the Noche still, but we also have some fun ones too, so we're excited. Oh, I gotta say one more thing, I'm sorry. At the ticket booth this year, the main will call, like the VHCA, that's still gonna be our ticket hub. They're gonna have a booth set up so that we can still purchase the leftover Summerfest bags and recycled t-shirts that were made into like wine bags and totes and things like that. So if you missed out on buying something at Summerfest, come, you know, buy something there. I think it's all gonna be like $5, $10, $15, $20. So we wanna kinda get rid of that in storage too.
What's the weather gonna be?
How about caroling?
Sunny and
Are we
beautiful.
gonna have caroling again this year?
We're gonna have caroling, but it's not gonna be Grady High. It's going to be the Lutheran Church. I don't remember, I'm so sorry, I don't know the church's name. But
Did things not, we try to get Grady kids
Trying to
again?
get Grady, they're overbooked, and
No.
also Inman. Disappointed in Inman.
What about media? Do you have any, how's the, just, blogs and stuff like that?
Oh, we're so slam dunked. Our last meeting, our PR, again, we beefed up sponsorship committee this year and public relations. Our public relations has 5 people that are working on every avenue. They've got, our last week's meeting, they had 17 bloggers. Just bloggers that were going to have a direct link to our website. We're on air several times on HGTV towards, you know, the hot week, you know, the week before, which I think we got that for like $250. I mean, we really did some wheeling and dealing on some of our media, and all the communities around here are helping us out. The Inman Park, Grant Park, they have like local papers and local things that we're putting into Midtown Press. So the
Patch, you've been on Patch, yeah.
All that, so. And then there were 4 magazines that chose to do a small highlight on us. And then tons of other magazines like Points North and East Cobber and places like that that would mention us in the calendar events. So I feel so good about this year. Last year we hardly had any media and we blew it out of the water on ticket sales. So our goal was if we had rain, that we would kill it on sponsorship, and we did that. So we're almost about even. But anyway.
Can I just add, the committee has just been amazing, and they all started from scratch last year and did a great job last year, and then obviously this year they're really a well-oiled machine and added some folks, and that is great. There's nothing better though than now that we have social media for us all to go out there and spread the word, because if you can share a picture and get somebody excited to come with you, so ticket sales that's how that happens. And to volunteer, it's kind of a unwritten or maybe written that the board goes, they volunteer at Summerfest and Tour of Home, so if you haven't signed up, not only is it a great thing to do, it's just a blast. It's really
It's a good weekend. It'll be like another Summerfest weekend, and our shops really rely on it because we as a committee try to see how we could give an extra added value to the ticket sales. And a lot of people were saying, let's do some kind of a winter wonderland, close off one street and do vendors. And we were like, no, because that's going to kill our stores. And so we really are protecting that with this tour. So we want people to come in, because Summerfest does kind of take away from the shops because of all the other things going on. So anyway, we're really stoked, and it's coming around the corner, so please at least come.
Well, I will remind, I'm sorry, John, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask Angelica, do we have a subtle reminder in the program? You know what I'm gonna say.
Yes, to lock up your car and
Uh-huh.
clean out your car. And I think Gina did that this year.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I'll remind board members, because we have some new ones, that there are 2 events being on this board delightedly allows you, we're expected to do what you've been doing anyway, which is tour of homes, at least one shift, and Summerfest, you'll be lucky if you only get 1 shift on that. But so we haven't signed up. This is a great time to do it, and someone will be calling you to ask you if you haven't signed up, so as soon as we talk to Eleanor. But no, I mean, really, let's do it, try to get in there on Sunday if we can and get help, because if we're short. And it's easy, it's actually fun and easy, you can meet people out the front door, and it's a cool thing, so.
Also, you get a free ticket, so, and you know, if you work on Sunday, you're allowed to pick up your ticket early and go on Saturday to the tour.
So, there was one other, this is outstanding work, Angelica, it's really,
Thanks.
really, and Lola had a piece of it, I wanted you to report to the whole board on this, 'cause it's worth hearing, because this is the stuff that we worry about too, and I know you do as well, but go ahead.
Angelica, I haven't emailed this to you, I just didn't get around to it today, but yesterday, we you're doing so well, we wanted to be sure that we're covered with our insurance. So we called the insurance company and made sure that we upped that for the proper attendance. And they did it at no charge, they shopped around, and then, so there's no additional expense that'll affect the profits, so, and we can all feel very comfortable. The only thing I would add is on the booties, I would suggest that volunteers recommend people take them off going up and down the stairs. Just, through the house on the flat surfaces, it's fine and protects everything, but.
I really almost wish we would just do it no shoes, because, but the homeowners really voted for the booties.
At the stairs is that, if you could get the volunteers, somebody to stand there and recommend that, then I think you're good.
It's based on an actual experience, I'm afraid. but-
You mean the
Even
interior
with the stops, though,
staircases?
I stood at the top of the stairs last year and I had to tell them, like,
So this is under your control, so you do what you think's best. We're gonna back you no matter what you do, but as well, use your judgment, because you've been doing it a while. So thank you.
And our insurance provider was just great, they, on their own, searched around and made sure they treated us right.
Well, the first thing was a large increase in the premium, which we still thought was wise, because it's hard to be claiming we have 700 people at this event anymore. It's just not plausible.
Yeah.
So Lola, nice job on that.
Yes,
Way to
thank you.
plow through that, and for nothing. All right, well, thanks very much. Thanks for
Okay,
coming
thank
tonight.
you.
And let's check in a couple of weeks early. If we're not getting folks, we'll shake the tree, volunteer ones. I think we will.
I really appreciate it. I'm so sorry, guys, and I'm just eat and run, but
Thanks for coming,
Thanks, great
still
job.
haven't finished. Okay, bye, y'all. Thank you.
All right, so let's move on to the master plan update. Ms. Keenan and Ms. Wyndham.
Well, I'll give an overview and then you can talk about the focus group. So the master plan process is going well. We had a survey on the master plan website as well as an interactive map where people could provide comments. That period for providing survey responses and putting comments on the map ended Friday. This Tuesday, tomorrow, we're having our first public meeting where we are presenting initial results from the survey and map and initial proposals for things to be included in the master plan. In addition, before the meeting tomorrow at 7, there is an all-day design charrette. So people will have an opportunity to come to the charrette between 7:30 and 5, as I said, all day, tomorrow. The design charrette is being held at the church across the street from Inman Middle School from, as I said, 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can just drop in anytime, see maps, see survey results, talk to Aaron Fortner, who's our main planner, heading up this event, and members of his company, and just provide your input and thoughts. And then at 7 o'clock at the church across the street from Inman will be the meeting where all those ideas will be presented. So the master plan process has been going very well. We received a lot of great input through the website. In addition to doing the website with the survey and interactive map, we're having a series of focus groups on specific topics. The first focus group was last week, and it was on traffic and transportation, which is one of the big issues that will be tackled in the master plan. So I will let my co-chair Jess give an update on that focus group.
So we met here actually at the church, and it was on the 6th last week. And we had about 10 people come and just, sit around the table and talk about, okay, what do you think about Monroe? What are some problem spots? What are the issues? How can you solve them? So that was, a lot of the conversation was about Monroe, and the quantity of cars on Monroe is actually decreasing. It's a national trend where car traffic is actually decreasing. So that was good news for Monroe. Talking about a road diet because it's policy for Monroe, and just what that might look like and where and what intersections, especially where the road diet would be a positive change. The park in Monroe is a big entrance point to the park, so that was discussed quite a bit. Speed tables, cycle tracks, curb cuts, we all just sort of talked about these different ideas and what would work where, what would actually impede cars and be more of a hassle than a benefit. So we talked a lot about that. We talked a lot about North Highland. Briarcliff we tried to touch on, but it's a little bit of a tricky spot because Briarcliff is, I think, a state road. And so there's not too much that we really, with the city of Atlanta, we at least kind of know how the bond might be coming out and we might be able to get projects on their list. So Briarcliff is kind of its own different animal to deal with. And I imagine we're also going to be talking about Briarcliff when we have our education focus group, because we'll be talking a lot about how people access schools. Do kids bike? Do kids walk? How do parents get there for events? Things like that. Speeding was definitely a common issue on Briarcliff and Monroe. We talked a little bit after all of the kind of big roads were discussed. We talked about how are our bus stops doing, how's Park Atlanta doing, other little things here and there, other ideas about like what if we had a shuttle, what if we had parking decks in different spots around the neighborhood. So lots of good ideas, and I think it would be great if y'all could just stop in at the workshop and just, I think a lot of the input discussed at the focus group would be able to see it and talk about it and at the charrette tomorrow. And we've got education focus group, land use preservation and planning, business, and we added another one, environment and parks. So we'll be doing those over the next month or so. And those all will be a group of like 10 people or so. So it's usually a small group of people who just have pretty specific information to share.
The additional focus group is on
Environment. Yep, come in anytime. It's Erin will be there 7:30 to 5, and then they'll kind of,
For those of you who haven't had a chance to spend time with Erin, the chance to go in the middle of the day if your schedule allows, it's a real privilege. He is so bright. He's city planner for 5 years, Market in Maine, Brookhaven, Cameron Park, many master plans, and he and the folks who are working with him are very, very sharp, and it's been a real pleasure. And they're funny, and they're extremely well informed, and so if you get a chance, I haven't seen your comments on, Dan, have you made comments on the master plan?
I have not yet.
Need your comments on the master plan. Have you been on this, Mr. Dwyer?
I have indeed.
Website's down.
Not only
So you
have
have to
I
go to
attended
the
the
deadline.
solicitation focus group and was a key element.
It is.
All right, so, and Ms. Norwood, we would welcome your comments broadly, even if you don't, I mean, it's, if you Google Virginia-Highland master plan, if you just want to write us a note, we'd fire them in there. We'd just be curious about your thoughts. We're really trying to get the devil's always in the detail on this. The details matter, but broad thoughts are also welcome. I think many other people, I think Karen's been on, I know, and others have, so please go on if you haven't. Get through it and do it, because this is your chance. Don't sit on your good ideas. Fire them in there, or go by tomorrow.
I have a question. No, I had never heard the word charrette before. I saw this come out. What are they doing? Like, if I stop in, what will I do?
You'll probably see a map and they'll have Sharpies or like sticky notes, and you can say, this intersection is awful and I always see wrecks here. Or what if we did bike lanes here? Or, it's just a more hands-on approach to getting feedback from the community.
Okay, but it's not like we're gonna get to see the outcome of some of the focus groups or anything like that. It's just a physical
Well,
version
something
of the
that
online
LDA.
thing.
Right.
Well, at 7
In the
o'clock,
evening, you're gonna get
Erin's gonna provide an overview of the survey results and the map results.
At
So,
7 p.m.
7 p.m.,
He's
yes.
also going to summarize the comments that people made during the day. He's got an hour and a half to take all those comments and summarize them. So people that come to the charrette
have an opportunity right there to talk to them and make their own comments too.
I still have flyers, you might have seen these around town. I tried to be politically correct at where I put them. No utility tolls, I promise. So if you want one, I have extra.
Those are up, they're up.
They're up.
Yeah, they're up everywhere on Highland, so congratulations, that was excellent job, well done getting them out there.
This is another thing to remind your neighbors to go tomorrow and tomorrow night, because the more participation we have, just the better the outcome. And just might take a little encouragement and use the buddy system to come.
Do we want to send a little flyer out by street captain list?
Just did that. I meant to do it earlier.
Okay.
Just sent it to her before the meeting. I was like, I'm so sorry, it's so super late, but.
One of the many things we like about Aaron is how he actually believes what are sometimes thrown out as pro forma phrases about the more you get in there, don't worry about what anybody knows, don't worry about what they think. If they're willing to submit an idea, just get it in there, it'll all shake out in the big picture. And really believes that, and I really believe it too. So let's just get it, he's convinced me, let's just get everybody to go and show up, and everybody that's ever griped about anything in this neighborhood, probably legitimately, this is your chance. If there's nothing more than that, I'm gonna pass on Suzanne didn't make it tonight on the budget report, all is well. This is gonna be the 2013 update, we're doing just fine. It's gonna be in good shape, and move on to, I think, we're gonna go to parks right now. Lauren and David, would y'all give us a little update?
Yeah, the, Parks Committee meeting with the Urban Design Committee this week on Wednesday to have our final drawings of the John Howell Park improvements approved by them, hopefully, on Wednesday. So then we can move forward with the construction process after that.
When is it gonna be approved, we hope?
Wednesday
Urban
is
is
the
4 o'clock,
24th.
and we're boldly ready to say that nothing else can delay this process, but we don't believe it.
Oh, don't say it out
No,
loud.
it's a joke. I was joking already, but incredible. In our lifetime, we hope to get this done. David?
Yeah.
Yeah, so on Saturday, what was it, the 26th, I think, last Saturday in October, Jack, myself, Lola and her dog, and 5 volunteers from Georgia Tech, part of the Tech Buzz program, volunteers came over to John Howell Park. I guess we spent maybe close to 4 hours in the morning. Most of you, or many of you may be aware, if you're not, there was a lot of erosion damage occurring between the two sections of the park, created a fairly large gully going between the upper section and the lower section. So it's really spent, under Jack's guidance, some time with pickaxes and everything else, laying some meshing and plant material and logs and so forth in order to kind of divert and rebuild back up the gully going through that area. So I think we'll see how everything holds up during the next major storm. Go ahead.
There was talk about having stairs going down there.
Yeah.
If we're talking about the same place, which is where everybody goes anyway.
See, there's-
Are we gonna try and do that?
No,
Really?
Sarah's got asked for now. There's not enough money and it's, yeah, it would be a whole separate project. And so this was something for, to kind of tackle that in a more costly way.
It hasn't changed since the detailed article that we wrote last June that you spent hours reading, I can tell.
Obviously.
Well, you know what, it did have some attractive possibilities, but it also, from the landscape architect's point of view, he didn't originally draw it that way, and unsurprisingly, he thought it had a lot of ramifications about traffic flow and other things once you got up to the top piece and trying to connect it to the existing. So that, plus the tiny practical matter that Lauren mentioned, that it was gonna cost a lot of money, made it a lot easier to just fix it. And when in any case, we needed to fix all the erosion.
Bushes and stuff, I mean,
Yeah, so just
Eventually.
to prevent people from going up there now is our goal, and to have it grow and fill in so that the water slows down from
Is
us.
that treatment that's there right now working? I mean, I just saw it the other day. Is it-
Well, we haven't had a monster rain, but it's gonna be fine. It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but David let
It
a
is a
crew
good
up
barrier
above it
that
that was
takes
deflecting the water. It is a very low-tech design. It is nothing but logs and rocks and soil and geotextile fabric covered by mulch and plant material. It's really just trying to replicate what the bank should be looking like. It is one of the frequent reservations that people have is that all there is? If you've been out to Blue Heron Nature Preserve, this is one of the things we did all over the place at Blue Heron. And it's utterly underwhelming until it grows in, and then with any luck, you'll never know what happened. And I think it's worked there, it's worked many, many, many places. The plant material will be the final piece that will knit everything together. And you can't see, all we got now is a few Christmas ferns. It's winter. That'll get fixed next spring a little bit, but I think it's solid.
So the goal is to make it fully vegetated, just like the rest, and hopefully the public won't persist in tearing this.
I think there's more work that needs to be done further up,
Well,
obviously, but yeah, that's the ultimate goal.
Further thoughts or fears? I take your point, Fraser, it's not an uncommon reaction, but communication, Ms. Carlisle.
Can I ask a
Oh, I'm
question?
sorry, question, I apologize, yes.
Oh, me?
I didn't know who she's pointing to.
Did you know, didn't Noni meet with someone at the island yesterday to talk about a possible solution for the fence?
Well, that's gonna get reflected in next year's budgets and goals, so we'll get to that. Yeah, she's looking at that, she's gonna have to use a part vendor, but that's okay. It was good to get a first take on that. But yeah, that's a good point. The triangle will be on the list. Did you have a question? Bye, Mary, thanks for coming.
Thank you, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, and I am gonna stop by the charrette tomorrow. So
That'd be
I will
outstanding.
I'll see. Okay, thank
All
you
right,
guys.
thank you.
Thank you.
It says church across from Inman now.
Got it.
Got it.
So some time ago, as everybody here probably knows, we set out to see about updating and improving and revising our logo, our Virginia-Highland Civic Association logo. It was presented to the old board and batted around and negotiated. It was then presented to the new board at the last meeting and also went through a pretty good review and discussion with everybody who was here during the last meeting. And then subsequent to that, Lola's team took another pass at the logo to incorporate other requests and recommendations. So we now have a final, proposed Virginia-Highland Civic Association logo that has been vetted and re-vetted. And there are some print ones here. And as you look at it, remember that the logo, this is a version of the logo, but depending on where it's being used, if it's on the masthead, if it's on the banner, it can be modified for those spaces. So I would like to propose that with this final version of the logo, I would like to make a motion that we adopt it as the new logo for the Virginia-Highland Civic Association.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, do we have one?
Second.
We have a second, yes.
Yeah, sorry about that. So refresh my memory from the last time we saw it, the text colors have changed, the style of the text has changed.
That depth, that's the white.
Yeah, the font changed, and it's more reflective of the original, our current logo. And then something that gives a little definition between these three patches, as well as a little bit of more contrast in the color. And what you're seeing over there is a representation of how it would look on a banner or different things. It's just a first exploration. We'll look at that very carefully for each iteration of where it needs to be on the website, letterhead, things like that.
Good job, I like it.
It's really nice, and it could be adapted. If you want to do flags, we might not want to put the Civic Association on the flag, but it can be adapted to just have Virginia-Highland on there. And it emphasizes the hyphen, which is really nice too, so I congratulate you for that.
I want to see those expensive giant bronze signs like Mason does, so that we can outdo them.
You know,
His ninja self did
money
that.
for that.
back to your previous point, we think we are outdoing them by understating this. That's our theory.
They'll never notice though.
That's a good point.
I
So
have a
there's
question
Sir, yes.
about this one. I was wondering, just as a matter of interest, the sign that adorns the intersection of Highland and Virginia, the nice wood carved sign that tells you that you're in Virginia-Highland, uses basically the present logo. Now, is that going to be changed to adopt this logo, in which case is it going to be another nicely carved wooden sign that looks the same as the one that's there, or is it just not necessary to change it?
Oh, I think we should leave what we have.
I think it's a discussion. I mean, I'm fine with the current sign as long as it is not, doesn't need repair or any of that kind of thing. And I'm sure the board has some thoughts on it too, but I think it's almost a historic sign in some
Well, it
ways. You're
is,
used to
really,
seeing
yeah.
it, you know.
Big bronze sign. Same size. Come on, guys. At the tour of homes, we can afford it.
Well, we'll see if, for now, at least, that sign is there. And I can't imagine there's gonna be any rush to change it, and it will take a proposal, a cost, and a budget approval. So if you're in favor of inertia, if you're in favor of the current situation, you know, you're probably.
Well, I just think it looks very nice.
I think
It sort of speaks of the atmosphere in the neighborhood. It's nicely carved, it's in a nice prominent position. And if something very much like that would ever need to be changed, it would need to be very much like that. Yeah.
But Father Bolton, the Braves are moving, so I don't think we can get attached to our sign.
Okay.
And I'm doing my best to keep that off the agenda, yes.
Sorry, I do think that we need to be mindful if we are changing our logo. I'm not an expert in this field, but I do think across, it needs to be consistent. So I would be in favor, even though it may be, I don't want to say wasteful, but I do think if we are
Well,
changing it.
I would like
we
to
need
separate
change it.
that part of the discussion, the sign, from the logo, and let's have this discussion here, and not say that we have to stick with this logo because we have a sign, and then we can discuss whether we change the sign later.
But I guess they're intertwined, I don't think they're separate issues. What are we changing?
On Tridebola.
No, I'm sorry, not that I want to understand if we're changing our logo, what are we changing?
We would change on the website, on the newsletter masthead, on any communications that go out with our civic association, you know, Word documents and things like that. As a brand person and a marketing person, I think that signage and your brand are not as intricately entwined, especially if it's a sign that's been up for a long time, and especially I think for a neighborhood where it's not like Nike or something where it's, you know, people are not as astute or looking at things that carefully for a neighborhood, in my opinion, as branding that I've typically done. And I think that some of the signage, I mean, you have like the brick pillars going into Morningside, imagine if they changed something, I mean, those are sort of nostalgic and cool even if they change their logo. Like you don't see them as being different from Morningside Linux Park neighborhood logo. They introduce you to that section of the neighborhood, but I don't see that as an issue, and I also don't think that sign would last forever, so, you know, we can talk about it.
Also, Lola, does the sign just say Virginia-Highland? It doesn't say Civic Association, right?
It's not the civics, you are in Virginia-Highland. This is the Civic Association, they're two different things.
So it's not, we'll have to look at it again.
Well, I don't want to, I think that may be a bridge too far. You're correct, the sign says the neighborhood. It was also put up by the Civic Association in the day, and if and when the sign does come down, and it almost came down a year ago because it was separating, it's been repaired reasonably well, we would go to this new logo. I think there's zero doubt that we would make it uniform. And I think both points are well made. I just think if that's the logic, then what happened 20, 15 years ago winds up driving this discussion, and I will probably support the motion as written with the understanding that that would probably be that would be the outcome if and when signed. If you want to go up to face it.
No, but just moving forward, then everything would be the new logo.
Right.
For consistency.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
we'll
yeah.
move in that direction.
Yeah, we won't,
Confusion.
yeah.
I just think it might confuse them. But I love the new logo.
I think it's similar enough to where people would still recognize it with the house and the city in the background and the colors.
So do we have a vote?
We have not had a vote, we're having discussion right now, so we're gonna have, everybody's gonna get heard here. Is there further comments or thoughts from anyone in the room? We have a motion properly made and seconded in front of us to adopt this logo moving forward, dear old Virginia-Highland. May we have all those in favor, please raise your hand. All right, it is unanimous. Thank you ever so much, Lola, to you and your colleagues for all the work.
Thank you guys for adopting it. It'll be fun.
Maybe we could add one little thing in parentheses, after Virginia-Highland with a gold D, parentheses, no S.
No S.
No S, please.
Oh, man.
Apartment complex somewhere.
You beat me to it.
I like it.
We will move on to the 2014 goals and budgets. Ms. Carlisle.
Let's see, basically, all committees should look back at the goals and budget, they're online, and think about your plans for this year moving forward, and revise those goals. Add to them, what we usually try to do is set your goals and also apply tactics through which you'll achieve those goals. And try to be, very specific. As we all know, if you have a plan, then you're more likely to carry through with it. So it really helps us to put this online and commit to what we really want to accomplish for the year. And then also apply specific budget numbers to those goals for review. We'll have meetings with the budget committee and the committees to review those. And wherever you can, try to go find a cost for whatever it is, or assume if it's going to take an intern a certain amount of hours at X amount of dollars, kind of detail that. So we'll reach out to committee chairs also that aren't here and make sure that they're aware. And basically those need to be posted online with the budget. And I don't recall if there's a specific time. I believe that we can look back at when we posted them last time.
But we need them right away. And even if there are gaps and you don't know what they are, Peggy and Lola and I were talking, I had mentioned it to you, trying to meet as early as Wednesday night to go over these if we don't get hung up at the UDC, which could happen, could mess that up. So I think we had earlier mentioned November 1st, so it is now past November 1st, so please, if you're we'll call you, we'll be asking for, most of our committees start with last year's, so you've got a template to work from. The only one that doesn't work for very well is planning, really. So it would really be helpful if we could get these in and get going very rapidly here, because we're going to publish them with or without. We need them. We just need them real quickly. Calendar items, Ms. Carlisle.
December, is it 7th and 8th for the tour of homes? And then obviously the charrette. Charette's tomorrow and meeting afterwards tomorrow night. I can't think of anybody else have calendar items.
Any others? Well, that's not a VHC matter, but if you want to, I would rather, talk about it. The Historic Effort by a group of citizens is not being led by the association.
Is it not?
It is not.
There are a series of street level meetings that are happening by the contemplated, for residents and owners in the contemplated district. And there's 2 more of those, December 5th and 11th, I think. So that's the last 2 of 5. The meetings have been going well. And
Is that where I need to bring people to find you?
yes, anybody's welcome to the meetings, but we try to divide them up so that they be smaller, more interactive groups. But
Because I'm trying to rush you guys.
Okay. Yeah, come to either December 5th or 11th. And if you go to highlandandvirginia.org, you'll see the meeting schedule there. So it's just an exploratory process with questions and talking about pros and cons amongst neighbors and owners, and it's going really well. A lot of good input.
What's the early date?
December 5th.
And where's the meeting?
The meetings are here, Church of Our Savior up in Garrison Hall at 7.
Okay, and where online is the information?
HighlandandVirginia.org.
HighlandandVirginia.org.
Mhm. What's up, Karen?
I wanted to talk about a previous event that happened. I don't know if you guys know, but there was the Battle of the Birds.